in Turkey and the aftermath of the deadly attacks there. The death toll has again risen, now to 42. Authorities blame ISIL militants, although the group has yet to claim the attack at the Ataturk airport in Istanbul. 13 people have been detained, including 3 foreigners. Authorities say 109 of the 239 people hospitalized have since been discharged, but the health minister says 41 are still in intensive care. Flights have resumed at the airport, but there were several delays. Meanwhile, we're no closer to finding out the identity of the attackers, but initial forensic results indicate they were not Turkish nationals. CCTV's Mishaba David has more from Istanbul.
Three attackers, 3 explosions. Turkey's iconic Istanbul Ataturk airport was hit with a terrorist attack on Tuesday evening. One suicide bomber strategically created chaos with gunfire, paving the way for the 2 others to pass security X-rays and blow themselves up. Dozens were killed, many were wounded. Among the victims were foreigners, including citizens of Jordan, Iraq, and Ukraine. The tactics used resembled that of Islamic State, ISIL, much similar to the Brussels attack in March of this year. Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yildirim was quick to blame the terrorist organization as he condemned the attack and brought attention to the timing of the incident.
Once again, we see that terror is a global threat. This heinous attack targeted innocent people. It's very meaningful that it happens now, just when we are succeeding in our struggle against terrorism and as we launch a normalization process with our neighbors.
The target of this attack was also very significant, as the Istanbul Ataturk airport ranked as the 11th busiest airport in the world, with over 60 million people traveling through here in 2015, a vital point of travel for many passengers worldwide. Many international tourists were at the airport while it happened and experienced the shock of the attack.
We were waiting for our flight when we saw a man wearing a red jacket. He started shooting with a Kalashnikov. Then there was an explosion. We immediately hit the ground. We were with children. We didn't understand what was happening.
No one has claimed responsibility for the attack so far, and more details of the 3 terrorists who were all killed are expected to be announced soon as the investigation continues. Meanwhile, the airport has reopened hours after the attack. Mishaba David, CCTV, Istanbul.
Well, let's bring you the very latest from Turkey now. I'm joined live from Istanbul by CCTV's Stephanie Fried. Stephanie, at this point, still no word on the identity of the attackers, but we understand that arrests have been made. What more can you tell us about this? I'm afraid it seems we might be having some technical difficulties there. We will try and get that information from Stephanie a little later. But for now, African leaders have been condemning the Istanbul attack and pledging their support to Turkey. South African President Jacob Zuma says his country stands firmly with the international community in condemning all forms of terrorism. Somalia's Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has described the attack as brutal and unforgivable. He says any violence against civilians is deplorable. James Michel of the Seychelles has also denounced the attack, saying it was indiscriminate as it targeted people of all races. Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta has offered his condolences to the families of the victims and says he stands in solidarity with the people of Turkey. Kenya has also boosted security at its own airports. And of course, other world leaders have expressed their support and condolences to the victims of the deadly bombing at Istanbul's main airport.
I spoke by telephone with the president of Turkey, and at the beginning of the conversation, I expressed condolences to all Turkish people in connection with the terrorist act which was carried out in Istanbul.
China strongly condemns this terrorist attack, which targeted common people. China opposes terrorism of any form, and it calls upon the international community to enhance the coordination to jointly fight against terrorism in order to safeguard international peace and stability.
I had a chance to speak to President Erdogan earlier today to discuss with him not only how heartbroken we have been by the images of the injured and those killed, but also to reaffirm our strong commitment to partner with Turkey, with NATO, with the broad-based alliance that we've structured around the world to fight ISIL.
There are dozens of innocent victims that have been hit by this form of barbarism, and we know how difficult these moments are. So I wanted to express my support and sympathy for the Turkish people.
Well, let's try once more to speak to our correspondent, Stephanie Fried, live for us in Istanbul. Stephanie, at this point, very little information about the attackers, but we do understand that some arrests have been made. What can you tell us about that?
That's right. There were sweeping arrests, hundreds of police officers involved overnight Thursday, raiding various outlets and arresting 13 people who are affiliated with ISIL. Not sure if they're directly, it's not being said whether they are directly connected with the attacks that happened at the Istanbul airport. However, the links that they have with ISIL, according to the local media, the national Turkish media agency here, is they are active in supporting, perhaps financing, recruiting and logistics for ISIL. Also being reported that among those who have been arrested, 3 foreign nationals. 9 of those people were arrested in the Turkey's coastal city, Izmir. Again, it's not been said whether they were directly involved in these attacks, but the belief is that they are. Certainly they do have ties ties with ISIL. They are supporting ISIL.
And Stephanie, at this point, are authorities any closer to releasing the names and nationalities of the victims of this incident?
The authorities know. The speculation is that information should be forthcoming within the next day or so. The authorities from the get-go have said that they believe that ISIL is behind the attacks, but actually releasing names and nationalities has not been forthcoming yet. The expectation, again, within 48 hours. There is some speculation, however. Some foreign agencies here, foreign reporting agencies here in Turkey are saying that perhaps one of the attackers is Russian national with a Chechnyan background. That's being reported, not confirmed. So again, very soon the expectation is that we will know who these people were, who they were affiliated with, despite the fact that there has been no official claim of responsibility yet.
And of course, we've been getting reports of various flight delays and such issues. Have operations managed to return to normal at Ataturk Airport? It seems we've lost Stephanie once more. We do apologize for that. But now, while air traffic has indeed resumed at Istanbul's Ataturk Airport, those who witnessed the attack are finding it difficult to relive it.
He had hidden the gun over here, and he's taken out, and he's shooting up 2 times, and he's beginning to shoot the people like that.
People were shooting on one side, and we all ran the other way, and then the bombs went off, and people started running the other way, and there's more shooting.
There's images you have from Paris and from Orlando that they come around and shoot you now. And so it's a scare you have that they're coming for you. And this is a terrible feeling, you know, that you might die.